Okay. Yes, I think that might be a good idea. Thanks, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Who's going to be the first?
Well,
Okay.
How are you?
You-
I don't have any. I just wanted the pleasure of sitting in your company.
Fine.
That's why I'm here.
Okay. Your name is
Christina.
Christina
Yeah.
from Australia?
Yes,
I see. What do you do in Australia? Do you work? Do you
I
have...
just retired.
I'm sorry?
Retired just
Yeah.
now.
What?
I was working in the schools. In a school with
You are
disabled
teaching in
children.
a school?
No, I'm at ancillary staff, which is a helper in a disabled unit
I see.
with disabled children. Yeah,
Oh, I see.
yeah. And I've just finished.
I see.
Yeah.
And what brings you here? Are you interested in what I talk about?
Pardon?
Are you interested in what I talk about?
Yes, I've read so many. I've got a little library at home of your books.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and I just wanted to sit in your presence.
My publisher will be very happy.
Yes. I bought his last car for him.
I see. So now, what? I'm sorry, you said your name is?
Christina.
Christina.
Yes.
Christina, if somebody asks you, you have read so many books of Ramesh Balsekar,
Yes.
what does he want to tell me? What would you say?
Well, I think nothing is the.
I mean, is there my point, is there a focal message I have?
Yes, on every page. On every page, I pick up something. I might read one page a day.
Yes.
And put the book down and dwell on that, and then let it go.
So.
And that's how I read your book.
So what I say has thousands of concepts, thousands of pages.
Yes, but I think the book, the concept that nothing is impresses me most. Who cares? Nothing is. That's.
I entirely agree. That is true.
To me, that's the whole ball of wax. That's it. Yeah.
Yes. For me, something always happens.
Yeah.
Something always happens. Sometimes what happens, I like.
Yes.
Sometimes what happens, I don't like.
Yes.
But that is life.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what I talk about. Basically, my focal point is, I talk to someone like us, who very fortunately for ourselves, is reasonably comfortable in life, whereas millions of people are below the poverty line. So I talk to someone who is reasonably comfortable in life, for which we have to be grateful to God.
Yes.
And who also has the common sense to know that the very basis of daily living is uncertainty. No one can know what the next moment will bring, pleasure or pain. And no one can know the total amount of pleasure and pain one is supposed to experience in one's life.
Yeah.
So in such circumstances, my focal point is, what does someone like us want most in life as happiness?
Yeah.
In other words, what I'm saying is, I'm not really concerned with enlightenment or self-realization or being one with God or anything like that.
Yeah.
My point is, ever since a newborn baby seeks his mother's breast intuitively, the whole purpose of life for the human being is to find the ultimate happiness in this life.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, as the Hindu might tell you, I have to be a good boy in this life so that I will have a good life in the next birth.
As you said in one of your books, so that some other ego can have a good life.
Therefore, I say, no deal.
Yeah.
Why should I let go of a lot of goodies
Yes.
so that some other ego, some other individual in some other birth is going to have a good life?
Yeah.
No deal. Therefore, my point is, every human being, as far as I'm concerned, should be concerned mainly with that ultimate happiness which he wants in this life.
Yep.
But the point really is, what precisely is the ultimate happiness I want? See what I mean? That is the... So I come to the conclusion that every moment, pleasure or pain, I have no control. And yet I want some happiness. Therefore, the most important conclusion I have to come to is that the happiness that I am seeking has nothing to do with pleasure in life. For me, the most important conclusion. You see what I mean? What will bring me pleasure next time? I have no control. And I expect something to bring me pleasure, and it brings pain. Therefore, the most important conclusion, Christina, which I come to, and your name, ma'am?
Denise. Denise.
Denise.
Yes.
Christina and Denise. So my point is, most important conclusion the human being has to come to, from my point of view, seeking ultimate happiness, is the basic fact that the deeper happiness I am seeking is not to be found in the flow of life. See what I mean?
Yes.
Flow of life can only mean pleasure or pain, over which I have no control. Therefore, the most important conclusion I come to is that the happiness I am seeking is not to be found in life, in the flow of life, but in my attitude to life.
Yes.
Therefore, the happiness I am seeking is purely subjective. Therefore, I have to decide, what do I mean by happiness? What I mean by happiness, someone else may not mean by happiness. Unless both of us, or all 100 of us, or all 1,000 of us come to the same conclusion. The most important conclusion, my happiness which I am seeking depends not on life as it happens, but in my attitude to life. You see what I mean?
Yes.
And the point is, what I talk to you is from my personal experience, not spiritual experience,
Yes.
but on my experience as a seeker. I've been a seeker all my life. I don't know how many books I've read. So when I retired from service, I decided I've been waiting for it. That once I retire, then I'll do my own seeking. Because I've been fed up with the number of opposing concepts I've collected about enlightenment, about self-realization, all kinds of things. So I decided at some time, I shall do my own seeking. And based on that, I decided that I'm not going to cover somebody else's concepts. Therefore, at that point I decided what I want is my happiness. And therefore, in my seeking, I said I will begin with the minimum number of items. I'm not concerned with soul, I'm not concerned with rebirth, I'm not concerned with enlightenment. What is the minimum number of items I'm concerned with? And I came to the conclusion there are only three. First, there is the source, quite obvious. The one unmanifest singularity, the one unmanifest oneness, singularity, which has become the duality in manifestation, and the duality has become the many. Fundamentally, there is the unmanifest singularity and the manifest duality which has become the many. And manifestation can only mean the totality of three-dimensional objects. What is manifestation? Manifestation is a collection of three-dimensional objects. The three-dimensional objects are of various kinds. I could see quite clearly. First, there is a stone in which there is no life as we say it. Then there is a growing plant which grows by itself. God doesn't come and water the plant. The plant grows by itself. Therefore, there is life in the growing plant. Then there is the animal, where the three-dimensional object is a body-mind instrument with five senses through which the animal sees, hears, smells, tastes, and touches. And for the animal to live, there has to be consciousness. So the animal is a three-dimensional object in which there is life and there is consciousness and a minimum of intellect to live his life as an animal and procreate, have babies and continue with it. Finally, there is the human being. So for me, there are four different objects: the stone, the growing plant, the animal, and the human being. The human being, from my conceptual point of view, is an animal. Therefore, he has life. Therefore, he has senses through which he sees, hears, and there is consciousness. And on top of it, the animal is also an ego. The animal lives as a separate entity. Your pet dog considers himself a separate entity and you as his master.
Yes.
So for the dog, happiness can only mean if you keep him, if you keep your dog, give him sufficient food, take him for exercise, keep him clean, and in the end, at the end of the day, you let him come and sleep in your lap. That is all the your pet dog wants, as happiness. But the human being is an animal in which the ego has a sense of personal doership.
Yeah.
The dog doesn't care who does what, so long as he gets what he wants. But the human being is an animal in whose ego there is a distinct sense of personal doer. I am in charge of my life. And intellect. The dog doesn't care, who am I? But the human being is supposed, he can't help asking himself sometimes, what am I doing here? Who am I? What am I doing here? What is this world all about? That is intellect. So my concept is the human being is an animal, therefore he has life and consciousness, but his consciousness has a sense of personal doership and intellect. So that is by some, so as far as my three items are, there is the unmanifest singularity, there is the manifest duality, a collection of objects, and this body-mind organism is one such object in that section which we call the human being. So, the body-mind organism is an object, part of the manifestation. Then the only third item is Ramesh. This body-mind organism is part of the manifestation. Manifestation means an object, but Ramesh is not an object. Therefore, Ramesh cannot be part of the manifestation, and if he is not part of the manifestation, he has got to be part of the unmanifest singularity. See what I am getting at? The body is manifestation. Ramesh is the unmanifest source. So I get it, that every human being is a separate entity with doership. And ego who fundamentally has got to be the source itself. Impersonal consciousness, identified with each human body, mind, organism as a separate entity, the ego. Therefore, 6 billion body, mind, organs, 6 billion humans, or 6 billion egos, every ego being the source of God, if you like, but identified with a particular body, mind, organism as a separate entity with a sense of personal doership. I was concerned only with Ramesh. So, what is Ramesh seeking in this life? Happiness. And who is Ramesh? Ramesh is impersonal consciousness identified with a particular name and form as a separate entity, ego. And similarly, therefore, there are 6 billion human egos. So, first point I cover. Why did God have to create, or the source have to create egos at all? And make them suffer? Why did the source have to create human beings at all? Why did God have to create Ramesh at all? Who is forced to enjoy the pleasure and suffer the pain of the moment? The answer that I got was, God or the source was forced to create egos so that daily living can happen. Daily living means interhuman relationships. Daily living means interhuman relationships. Therefore, for life to happen, interhuman relationships have to happen. And for interhuman relationships to happen, there have to be different egos. In fact, interhuman relationship means inter-ego relationships. See the conclusion I gradually come to. So therefore, my life means, most important, as I said, the conclusion I came to is, I'm concerned for my happiness, not with life. Life means pleasure or pain. And I know what pleasure is. I know what pleasure is. There may be other kinds of pleasures which I have not enjoyed, but I still know what pleasure is. But I don't know the happiness. In other words, I'm able to enjoy pleasure in life, but I do not have the happiness I'm seeking. Therefore, the most important conclusion is, my happiness depends not on the flow of life, but in my attitude to life. Most important conclusion. My happiness which I am seeking depends on my attitude to life. My next question to myself was, what do I mean by my attitude to life? Not an easy question. But all this seeking I'm telling you about my own, I give you the answers now, gratis. But to find that out, it took me a lot of time, a lot of thinking, a lot of misery, I assure you. For instance, what do I mean by attitude to life? What would you say, Christina? What would you say? Denise, you said?
Yes.
What would you say, Denise?
The attitude, I would think, would be the way...
Wait, what do I mean by my attitude to life? Go ahead, please.
How you accept what's coming to you is your attitude you have towards what's minute by minute happening to you. That's your attitude. You either like it, you don't like it, you accept it. Is that your attitude?
So the answer I came, what do I mean by attitude to life? Any number of answers I got, I had to throw out.
Yeah.
Not good enough. Until I finally came to an extraordinarily simple. My attitude to life, ultimately, bottom line is, my attitude to life means my attitude towards the other.
Yes.
See what I mean?
I know.
When I talk about attitude to life, forget the whole world. What it really comes down to, when I say my attitude to life, it means my attitude towards the other, from morning till night. Daily living means my attitude towards the other. The other may be my parent, my wife or son or a close relative or a neighbor or someone connected with my business or occupation or a total stranger. That is important. And who the other is going to be at what moment, nobody has any choice. So during the day, my attitude to life means my attitude towards the other. The other can be someone close or a total stranger. And obviously, the happiness I want depends on a harmonious relationship with the other. My first moment was, why do I not have the happiness I'm seeking? The obvious answer is because my relationship with the other is such that it cannot bring me happiness. See what I mean? Why do I not have the happiness that I'm seeking now? Obviously because my relationship with the other is such that it cannot bring me happiness. So the next obvious question, what has been my attitude towards the other so far which has not brought me the happiness? I'm going step by step. See what I mean?
Yes.
What has been my attitude towards the other, whoever it is, a close relative or a total stranger, which has not brought me the happiness I'm seeking? What's the answer? What would be your answer?
In acceptance of the other person, what they get, not a total acceptance of what the other person's.
Can you explain that? What do you mean by acceptance of the other
Well,
person?
if the other person is not nice to you and you feel that you've done all you can, then you should just accept the fact that that's the way it is, this person,
So,
I accept.
I quite agree. Therefore, what you're in effect saying is that you have not had the happiness that you're seeking
Yeah.
because your attitude towards the other
Yes.
has been one of suspicion and
Expectation.
rivalry.
Yeah.
Suspicion and rivalry. And this psychology, I'm told, has a special technical name for rivalry among children, brothers and sisters.
Yes, it's a good one.
They call it sibling
Yes,
rivalry.
we've got it.
So what do we find? Our own children
Yes.
fighting among themselves. A piece of cake, I want it. So you say, no, there are three of you, I'll make 3 pieces.
Yes.
Then each one, which is the biggest piece?
Yes. So
Isn't
true.
that a fact?
Yeah.
Which is the biggest piece? So my point is, I have not had the happiness I'm seeking because from the very beginning my attitude towards the other has been one of suspicion and rivalry. And to the extent we see in the paper, we read, a father has murdered the son has murdered the
Yes.
father,
Sure.
brother has murdered. So even the closest relatives have rivalry among them. So you can imagine the extent of rivalry where the other is concerned. So my point is, my relationship with the other so far has been one of suspicion and potential rivalry, where the other is someone close to me.
Yeah.
And suspicion and potential enmity towards a stranger. Is he going to be friend or foe? I don't know him, he's a stranger. See what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Therefore, you'll appreciate what I'm going about is not enlightenment or self-realization,
Acceptance.
but daily living, happiness in daily. That's the difference. I'm concerned with happiness in daily living, and I don't mind telling you. I started seeking happiness for me, and I ended up being connected to the source.
Yes.
I ended up being connected to God. If I had started with being connected to God, I would still have been hovering about with conflicting concepts.
Yes.
I started with seeking my personal happiness. I'll tell you now that it has led me to being constantly connected to the soul.
May I ask, did you have a period where you withdrew from it? I had this pull to step back from everything and 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 just be, or did you just I can't stop it. It's like, give me space, you know. Did you step back from after you retired for a while and then come back out again, or?
No, Christina,
Yes.
I've been a practical banker for 37 years.
Yes.
Therefore, I knew what you want is impossible.
Yes.
To be away from the world is impossible. To say, I'm not concerned with the world. Not possible, Christina.
But why this pull? I didn't invent it. Why have I got this pull? I love to get out there with everybody. I love it. But then I like to come home and it's like, this is my space now.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happens to me, but it does.
So why does it happen?
I don't know.
The important point is, you didn't do it.
That's right. Yeah, I feel I'm being pulled.
You are being pulled.
Yes, I feel it's beyond me.
And my focus point is, you are being lived.
Being which?
You are being lived.
Lived, yes, I'm being had.
You think you're living your
Yes,
life.
yeah.
I think I'm living my life. But the fact of the matter is, in every body, mind, organism, life is being lived.
Yes.
And that is the ultimate conclusion I have to come to.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate conclusion I have to come to.
So how do you stop feeling the rivalry and suspicion towards the others?
That is the point. That is the next step. That is the next step. So frankly, I tell you, I came to the conclusion that the only way I can have my happiness, the only way I can be happy is if my relationship with the other is totally harmonious.
Yes.
And as a banker with 37 years of practical experience, I decided that's impossible. That is not possible.
I was thinking, how could you do
How
it?
can anyone live his life? Now, I can't say we are all the same. So I keep my house open. Anyone can come and take away. I can't do that. I still have to lock my car.
Yeah.
And I still have to lock my house at night. I still have to lock my house.
Yes.
Why do I lock? Because I'm suspicious of the other.
Yeah.
With that understanding, honestly, I could not imagine that my relationship with the other can be anything other than suspicion.
Yes.
And at one time, believe me, I said this is impossible. Therefore, I came to the conclusion, no human being can be happy. I came to the conclusion, anyone who thinks he is happy is deceiving himself. The human being cannot be happy. And to think more about it is a waste of time and energy. So, I sincerely gave up the seeking. I surrendered my intellect. I said, any more thinking about it is waste. I genuinely surrendered my intellect. Every time I thought about it I threw it out. Waste of time. And when I had really surrendered my intellect, the answer came to me from outside. And when the answer came to me from outside, Denise, I suddenly remembered what I had read many years ago, that Albert Einstein when he discovered the equation E is equal to mc square relating to the theory of relativity, he was such a humble person, such true humility, that he is reported to have said quite openly, the equation, I did not discover the equation. The equation came to me from outside. So when my answer came to me, and I normally said from outside, I said, now I know what Einstein meant. At that time I wondered, what does he mean by outside?
Yeah.
Now I know that the outside can only be the source.
Yeah.
And the answer I got from the source was that the human being can be happy. There have been many occasions, not too many, but there have been occasions where many people have been genuinely happy. I don't know them, I may not know them, but one person I do know is the Buddha. The Buddha did live for many years with the total acceptance that the other is not a rival. And then the answer I got was, I have known the answer all the time, but I've thrown it out. What is more, every human being has known the basic answer, but everyone has thrown him out because the answer is the basis of every religion. The answer is the basis of every religion. And yet we have been having religious wars for thousands of years. Therefore, the basis of religion has not really been accepted by anybody. Everybody has thrown it out. And yet it is the basis of every religion. That was the only answer we got from outside. Meaning, you work it out for yourself.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you the answer on a plate. So my point was, obviously, I'm told that there is a basis of every religion. That I must start from there. Earlier, I said there can't be one. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had religious wars.
Yes.
So now the answer is, we have been having religious wars in spite of the same basis, because the basis has not been accepted by the world. So my focal question was, I have to accept that there is a basis of every religion. So my point was, what is the basis of every religion? That took some time. But finally, I happened to come across what I had earlier known, but the spotlight was not there. 4 beautiful, simple words in the Bible. Thy will be done. 4 simple, beautiful words which do not need any interpretation. Simply means nothing can happen unless it is the will of God. Therefore, whatever the world is at this moment, whatever the world was at any time before, and whatever the world will be at any moment in future, is precisely the way it is supposed to be, according to the will of God. And the basis of the manifestation and its functioning that we call life is duality, beginning with male and female. Everything in the manifestation and its functioning that we call life is duality, beginning with male and female, beautiful and ugly, wealth and poverty, health and disease, good deeds and bad deeds, everything. Therefore, nothing in the world was ever perfect. Therefore, it's stupid to seek perfection in the world. Perfection cannot happen in a daily living. There is duality. Perfection can only be in the source. Therefore, every human being, whoever it is, Jesus Christ or Krishna or whoever, has to have good and bad in himself. Nobody can be perfect. So on this basis, that everything is based on duality, made such a strong impression on me. Once I had accepted that, then questions which previously did bother me, now no longer bothers me. Why did God create Hitler?
Yes.
Why did, because of whom millions of Jewish people lost their lives? Why did God create Osama bin Laden? See what I mean?
Yes.
What is the answer, do you think?
Well, just for a bit of the play, a bit of duality, good and bad.
Therefore, why did God create Hitler? Because God created Jesus Christ and Ramakrishna Paramhans and Ramana Maharshi.
Yeah.
God creates good people as well as bad people. But that is not acceptable to man. I told you, thy will be done. No And would you believe it? It's very interesting. A young lady and her partner used to come here many years. So she found that her parents were on a world tour. So she suggested that they stop in Bombay for a week and they could also come and visit me. So one day she brought her parents, this is my father, this is my mother, both very strongly entrenched in Catholic concepts. They were both Catholics.
In which? I missed that.
I'm sorry?
Very strongly, what did you say?
Catholicism, Catholic religion.
Yes.
Catholic religion.
Yes.
Therefore, what I said was simply not acceptable
Yes,
to.
not at all.
Not acceptable.
Yes.
This is very interesting. At that time, you see, what happens here is, from April, May to October, very few foreigners. The climate in the West is much easier.
Yes.
The people come here from October to March or April.
Yes.
So this was at the height, the people here, a lot of people. And many people used to go, after the talk, they used to go to a club, quite close, called Beach Candy Swimming Club.
Oh yes, on the beach, yes.
Yes, quite close. And they used to meet there. And I was told that every day there would be a group of 7, 8, 10 people ganging up to convince the father of this group. And he resisted. But the mother was more pliant. So one day, second day, third day, she began to melt.
Yes.
So the daughter said, my mother would like to meet you one afternoon, but without my father.
Yes.
So I said, okay.
Yeah.
So she came, and by the time she left, she was a total convert,
Yes.
away from Catholic.
Yes.
But the father was strong with them.
Yes.
So when they left, the father sent a book to the daughter,
Yes.
suggesting that she may let me read it. The title of the book was The Will of God. The Will of God, written by someone high up in the church. The Will of God. And what it said was, will of God is not as simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
It needs to be interpreted. And he simply said, I have the authority to interpret it. So what was his interpretation? He said, will of God has to be understood. There are 3 aspects to the will of God. Intentional will of God. Then circumstantial will of God. obviously, God has no control over this. Anyways, it's second, circumstantial will of God. And then the ultimate will of God. So that God certainly didn't intend to create a Hitler. Hitler was part of the circumstantial will of God. And Hitler and Nazi and his creed was ultimately destroyed as the ultimate will of God. You see? He didn't anticipate any question, he just told you this.
Yes.
But the history says that it was such a touch and go whether the Allies won or the Nazis won. The atom bomb was discovered not by the Americans first,
By Nobel.
but by the Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
Atom bomb as such was discovered by the German Nazis. But God's will was that they didn't have the means to convey the bomb, which the Americans had. So the point I'm making is, it was touch and go. So his point was that Hitler was circumstantial will of God. Then ultimate will of God prevailed when the Tsar was defeated and Hitler committed suicide. That was the interpretation. And on the cover, right across, 650,000 copies sold. Right across the cover. So you can imagine, if the copies were 650,000 copies, how many millions of people must have read them?
Yes.
And why did they read them? Because they were interested. And they were satisfied. They themselves were wondering, how could God have created Hitler? This is the explanation.
Yeah.
They didn't go into the details.
Yeah.
But so that was the book. So my point is, the will of God for me, thy will be done, was so clear. Nothing can happen unless it is the will of God. That is the Bible. Then I am told, the Islam religion says the same thing. Actually, the roots of both religions are the same. Islam says the same thing. And only some few months ago, someone who came here, he was an Israeli man, deeply interested in religion. In fact, his subject was comparative religion.
Yes.
So he told me, Ramesh, do you know what Islam literally means? I said, no. He said, Islam, the word Islam literally means surrender.
Yeah.
The word Islam literally means surrender. That I could easily accept. What does the human being have to surrender to God other than his will?
Yes.
Therefore, accepting that it's only God's will which prevails, not mine. And Jesus Christ on the cross said, thy will, O Lord, not mine.
Yes.
And the Hindu religion says the same thing, a little more powerfully. Hindu religion says, thou art not just thou art the doer, thy will be done. Hindu religion says, thou art the doer, thou art the experiencer. Thou art the doer, so an action happens according to God's will. The action hurts me. So I say, my God, why are you so cruel to me? Hindu religion says, thou art the doer, thou art the experiencer. The only experiencer is consciousness, which is God. So God suffers or enjoys pleasure through a particular body-mind instrument. So I can neither enjoy nor suffer. It's consciousness enjoying something through this body-mind out or suffering something from this body-mind out. But more matter of fact, Hindu religion says, thou art the speaker, thou art the listener. More simple. So what it means is, it looks as if Ramesh speaks and Christina listens. Denise speaks, Ramesh listens. It appears like that. But the Hindu religion says, supposing all three were in deep sleep or under sedation,
Yes.
none of us would have been able either to speak
Yes.
or listen or do anything. Therefore, who does the speaking and the listening? Consciousness does the speaking through one instrument, listening through another instrument, speaking through this instrument, listening through this instrument. Thou art the speaker, thou art the listener. So quite clear that the basis indeed is the same. The basis of every religion is the same. That is the answer. And that is the basis of my basic concept. Based on this, my concept arose in my own words. My basic concept has always been, since the answer, everything in the world is happening according to God's will, cosmic law. How each happening affects whom? It may help you, it may harm me, it may help me or harm you, is again according to God's will, cosmic law. And through which body, mind organism, through which person the happening happens, which the society calls my action or your action, is also according to God's will, cosmic law. The human being is incapable of doing any deed.
Yes.
That was the concept I accepted. And then, how did that concept of non-doers, that the human being is not a doer, what happiness did it bring me? Don't forget my focal point. I have accepted this total concept. How did the acceptance of my basic concept bring me the happiness that every human being wants? Isn't that the question?
Yes.
The answer is, previously, I had accepted totally that whatever is in the moment, stupid to resist it. So, until that moment, I used to enjoy my pleasure and suffer my pain.
Yeah.
Acceptance. But what has been my experience? My experience was that while I thought I was enjoying a pleasure, my experience was something could happen and shatter my pleasure. I accepted the pain. I'm suffering the pain. But something could happen and intensify that pain. In other words, my experience was that I had accepted the pain, and pleasure, of course, was always welcome. But my experience was that I was not allowed to enjoy my pleasure in peace and suffer my pain in peace. Therefore, I came to the unusual conclusion that the happiness I am seeking can only mean the absence of the suffering. Ultimately, what is the ultimate happiness I want? All I want is to be able to enjoy my pleasure in peace and suffer my pain in peace. So the happiness I am seeking is that my pleasure of the moment should not be shattered, my pain of the moment should not be increased. In other words, I came to the fascinating conclusion that the happiness a human being seeks is not really some positive happiness, because any positive happiness can only be pleasure in life. Therefore, the only happiness a human being seeks and does not know is the absence of this suffering. The ultimate happiness is only to be allowed to enjoy my pleasure in peace and suffer my pain in peace. So, happiness means the absence of that which has the power to shatter my pleasure and intensify my pain. See the conclusion I come to. The happiness I am seeking is my pleasure to remain the same. So my next question was, what has the power to shatter my pleasure and intensify my pain? And that a little thought would tell me, I'm enjoying a pleasure. What happens? All it needs to shatter my pleasure is a memory of something I did to someone close to me, which hurt him so much, he has never forgiven me. A memory of something which I did to someone close to me, for which I have never been forgiven. That might have happened last week or a year ago or even 5 years ago. But a memory of what I did to someone close to me has the power to shatter my pleasure and intensify my pain, or the other way around. A memory of something close to me who did me a harm which I never expected him to do. A memory of someone close to me doing me such harm that I have never forgiven him. Either of the memory of either of those actions, my action or the other's action, has the power to shatter my pleasure and intensify my pain. And once I've accepted the human being is incapable of doing anything, that load of guilt and shame for my actions and the bigger load of hatred for others who hurt me, that load just disappeared. No more load of guilt and shame. No more load of pride for my successful action. No more load of hatred for others. By itself, this is the beauty of it, by itself meant the happiness I'm seeking. In other words, since I'm not the doer, I didn't have to do anything to have that happiness. In other words, what I'm saying is, the happiness every human being seeks is his birthright, it's there. But he has not been able to reach it because in between that happiness and me, this load of hatred for myself, for my action, and hatred for the others, for their action. Once that load is removed, I have free access, total access to the happiness which is my birthright. See what I mean?
Yes.
And soon after that, I came across the Buddha's concept. The Buddha's concept I came across. It's precisely what I said, but in his own words. The Buddha's words were, and I gathered, events happen, deeds are done, consequences happen, but there is no individual doer of any deed. Exactly what I said. So when I came across it, what do you suppose was my reaction? What do you think was my reaction?
Goody goody.
Pride? That I thought the same way the Buddha did?
Goody, I don't have to worry.
No. Happiness, in a way. My reaction was, believe it or not, total relief.
Yes.
Relief that I was not the only damn fool to accept a stupid concept like this.
Yes.
I wouldn't dare to give this concept to anybody. But the Buddha also had it. So it was a tremendous relief. And
Your books are full of relief. Everything you read, you think, oh, that's a relief. That's a relief.
Isn't that is the point.
Let it go, yeah.
Ultimately, what the human being is seeking is not something positive, but relief.
Yes.
You see. So, incidentally, from the beginning, I had two questions about seeking, spiritual seeking, which nobody could give me an answer, and I was frustrated. First question, what precisely is enlightenment, which according to Hinduism, I'm supposed to seek from my guru? I go to a guru, what am I supposed to seek? Enlightenment. What is the guru supposed to do? Give me enlightenment. But no, what is enlightenment? More important, whatever enlightenment may be, what will enlightenment do for me for the rest of my life that I didn't have before? Remember, I've been a practical banker. What will enlightenment do for me for the rest of my life that I didn't have before? Why should I want enlightenment? See what I mean? Why should I seek enlightenment? What will it give me? What will it do for me for the rest of my life that I didn't? No one would answer this question. And I was surprised that the answer came to me from the Buddha. The answers were always there. First, what is enlightenment? Enlightenment means the total acceptance. Events happen, deeds are done, consequences happen, but there is no individual doer thereof. That is enlightenment. Enlightenment doesn't mean lightning happening in my brain. Enlightenment doesn't mean going into ecstasy. According to the Buddha, enlightenment simply means the total acceptance. Events happen, deeds are done, consequences happen, but there's no individual doer doing any deed. And more important, what will enlightenment do for me? And so accurate, it brought tears to my eyes. So accurate. You see, Buddha was not advocating Buddhism. Buddha didn't want to sell Buddhism. Buddha was accurate. What will enlightenment do for me? Straight answer. Enlightenment means the end of suffering. Enlightenment means the end of suffering. By that time I had already known what the suffering was which ends. Load of guilt and shame for my actions, load of hatred for others. That is the suffering ends when I am totally able to accept I am incapable of hurting you and you are incapable of hurting me. See what I mean?
Yes.
See, that's the whole point. I don't have to fear hurting anybody. I don't have to be afraid of anyone hurting me. If I were hurt, what was my reaction before? Very simple. He hurt me, I hate him. Simple. And over a period, you can imagine the load of hatred for others. Now what is my understanding? Equally simple, but totally opposite.
Yes.
If
Personal.
I'm hurt, I'm hurt because a happening has happened. A happening has happened which has hurt me because it was my destiny to be hurt. Who has hurt me has become irrelevant and redundant. The happening which hurt me happened to happen to A. But whether it had happened to B, C or D doesn't concern me. It is the happening which has hurt me. Through which body-mind instrument it happened is irrelevant. Therefore, question of hating anybody simply didn't arise. See what I mean?
Yes. Slowly. Yeah.
So, ultimately, I get my happiness only if I am able to accept totally that no one is a doer, neither me nor the other. Intellectually, even a damn fool will accept it. Who wouldn't want this load to go? But the concept cannot work unless the acceptance is total. So first question, how do I know that my acceptance is total? Isn't that right? How do I know if my acceptance is total? 60 years ago, I would not have given you the answer. You just have to accept it. Today, I do have an answer. And that is, if I want to have the total acceptance, all I have to do is to take a lie detector test. I go to a doctor. He gives me an injection. And I'm told, 5 minutes later, after the injection had taken its course, I would be incapable of telling a lie. So all I have to do is go to a doctor, get this lie detector test, tell him to give me the injection, and 10 minutes later ask me, you don't really believe in this stupid concept that you're not the doer? My answer will tell me if my acceptance is total or not. But the more important question arises, if I know that I don't have this total acceptance, therefore what is the question? Question is, for both for Christina and Denise, the question is, I know I don't have the total acceptance. What do I have to do in order to make my intellectual acceptance total acceptance? That I am not the doer. Isn't that right?
Yes, yes.
And what is the answer? Only one answer. If I am not the doer, I don't have my acceptance is only partial, intellectual. What do I have to do in order to have the total acceptance that I am not the doer? If I am not the doer, what the hell can I do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Can't do anything about anyone.
Therefore the answer is, there is nothing I can do to have the total acceptance that I am not the doer. What does it mean?
Relief.
No, that, in what relief in what way?
Well, nothing I can do.
Therefore, it will happen only if it is supposed to happen.
Yes.
According to your destiny, God's will, cosmic law. So at that point, two conflicting reactions arise. Helplessness or total relief.
Relief.
And yet at that point, a valid question arises. I accept that it is not in my hands. I accept that it is in God's hands. But the valid question is, while I am waiting for God to make up his mind, is there not something I can do to pass my time as a spiritual practice? Before that, the question is, so far I've been doing some spiritual practice, meditation, repeating God's name or whatever. What do I do about those practices? Now I know that nothing is in my hands. But I have been doing meditation and repeating God's name with these beads for 15 years. I'll be lost without them.
Keep going.
What do I do about them? Valid question, isn't it?
Yes.
And you know what my answer is?
Nothing.
Very simple. Continue to do them if you like to do them. If you like to meditate, why should you stop it? But if you have been doing them as a matter of being forced to do it, you're free to stop it. But even other than that, I do have a suggestion. And that is the only spiritual practice I recommend, and that is what I call personal investigation. You know Ramana Maharshi, personal inquiry.
Who am I?
Who am I? He calls it personal inquiry. When he says, who am I, what he really means is, who is this me?
Yes.
He doesn't say, who am I as the source. What he means is, But in Tamil, there is no difference between I and me, as in English. So in Tamil, if he wanted to say, find out who is this me, he had to say I. And so if he meant the source, then in Tamil, he had to say I. So if he wanted to refer to the source, he had to say I. When he said I, it meant me. So he is to say, who am I? Means, who is this me? I call it personal investigation. Which is then, who is this me who thinks he is the doer? Very, very simple, because you're not the doer. And if you have the time during the day, you can do it anytime. But if you're busy throughout the day, then at the end of the day, take 10 minutes off, sit quietly, but comfortably. This is not a meditation. Take the most comfortable seat. And in order to be comfortable, if you would like to have your cup of coffee, or a beer, or a sherry, have it. And then do some very simple investigation. From the many events of the day, which you will agree just happen, I have nothing to do with them. Select one event, one action, which you're sure is your action. Other actions I don't know, but this one is my action, and I challenge anybody to prove to me that it is not my action. And that action you investigate. Again, very simple. If I consider this action as my action, did I decide to do that action at a particular time? I consider it my action. Did I decide to do that action at a particular time? They say, no, I didn't. Then the investigation, how did the action happen? And you remember, you had a thought. You had an idea. And that thought turned out to be your action. If the thought had not happened, your action would not have happened. And you had no control over the happening of that thought. You had no control over the happening of that thought. Why? Because no human being has ever had any control over what the next thought is going to be. No human being has ever had any control over what the next thought is going to be. If the thought had not happened, your action would not. And since you have done this investigation yourself, at the end of that investigation, you say, not my action, then your acceptance must go considerably deeper. Then you take another action and another, and I assure you, you may investigate any number of actions, and every single time, without exception, 100%, you will keep on coming to the conclusion, not my action, not my action. Each time the understanding will go deeper. If I had not happened to be at a certain place and time and seen something, my action would not have happened. And I had no control over being at that time, at that place, and more important, for something to happen, which I happened to see. How can I call it my action? If I had not happened to be at a certain place and time, and seen something, or heard something, or smelled something, or tasted something, or touched something, my action would not have happened. Every time the understanding goes deeper and deeper until at a particular moment of time, depending on your destiny, God's will, cosmic law, a divine flash of total acceptance is likely to happen. I simply cannot be the doer. Once that flash happens, there will be no more doubts. Okay?
Yes.
So you don't have the flash and then it leaves you, it stays with you.
A flash has to happen.
Yes.
That is, a divine flash has to happen. When it happens, But once you, as the understanding goes, that is the beauty of it. As the understanding keeps on going deeper and deeper, at a certain point you don't care when it happens.
Yes, doesn't matter.
As the understanding keeps on going deeper and deeper, when will it happen? When it becomes less and less, let it happen whenever it is. How am I concerned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How am I concerned? Because already you are experiencing the happiness. You are already experiencing the happiness, which is peace of mind, which is the absence of the suffering. And that is the beauty of this. Even if the understanding at an intellectual level or somewhere in between, it still works. It still works. May not be all the time, but it works.
Yes.
And the fact that it works, that it is your experience that it works, gives you the assurance that it will work.
No more suffering.
Not today.
Well, really, that is the most important, as you said, relief.
Relief, relief, relief.
Therefore, the most important thing is to understand that the happiness you are seeking, the genuine inner deeper happiness, is not something positive pleasure, but the negative absence of suffering. It's very funny. The Hindu seeker after enlightenment, amazing. So many people have come. Not one has asked these two questions. What will enlightenment do for me for the rest of my life? There was someone here some time ago. 30 years of doing serious work. So his point was, he said, tears in his eyes. Ramesh, I have been a seeker for 30 years. I have had 2 gurus. And even if I say so myself, I am a man of determination. And a man of sincerity. So, he said, with my hand on my heart, I can say, I've never ever done in 30 years anything that I'm not supposed to do. I have done everything I'm supposed to do. And yet, tears flowing, I'm still not enlightened. Uncontrollable tears of frustration. I'm still not enlightened. What do you think was my response? My response was, how do you know you're not enlightened? How do you know that you're not enlightened? He couldn't believe it yet. When will you know, how will you know that you are enlightened? So my point is, the Hindu seeker, Indian seeker who comes here, starts with, I want enlightenment and my guru is supposed to give me enlightenment, that's all. Never ever, what will enlightenment do for me? No one. So I asked myself, why is this state of affairs? Why is it that no Indian seeker has ever asked himself, what will enlightenment do for me? And the answer I came to honestly was, because he thinks enlightenment will make him God. He thinks enlightenment will make me God. Therefore, no more pain. No more mistakes to be made. I will be a perfect human being. No mistakes. I have special powers to be in 2 places at the same time and know whatever is going on anywhere.
No.
In fact, to the extent of this is what my friend in Los Angeles, Lickerman, so he said, don't forget one thing. Your Indians say, he thinks, if I'm driving a car and go into a heavy traffic and I want to park a car, then God will have to provide parking space. God will have to make someone go and make a place to such an extent. So he said, what is there to ask? I have everything. That is the trouble. So when I told him, ask him, I'll tell him, I'll tell you, I said, take it from me or leave it. But when you do become enlightened, you will still continue to suffer the same pains because that has already been predetermined. You will continue to make the same mistakes. You will not be a perfect human being. And you can't be sure that you'll have a parking space. You will never have any special, you may have special power, but not because of enlightenment. You will look, what else is there to have? You expect, why should I seek enlightenment? So I asked him, would you like to know what you will get? He said, yes, yes. So all you will get is that your suffering will be over.
Yeah.
So this reminds me of a story. A man went to a Zen master, very sincere, he was prepared to do anything. But he was so loaded with concepts that he would have left no time for the Zen master to say anything. Every time the Zen master started something, he would come in. So Zen master said, no, this is hopeless. You'll have to go to the monastery and stay there for 2 years. Are you prepared? He said, yes, yes, I'm prepared to do anything. So he goes to the monastery for 2 years. He comes back. So the Zen master says, all right, say whatever you want to say in 2 words. So he sits there and said, bed hard. Back to the monastery for another 2 years. So he comes back. 2 words. Food bad. Another 2 years. He comes back. 2 words. I'll quit. So, no special power. Still the same pain. Still the same mistake. Why I quit? So this is the point. The maximum real happiness is not something positive, but the absence of suffering. But people don't realize it unless you have experience, which I have. I'd always suffered throughout my life from migraine headaches. One particular occasion, I had migraine attack for 3 days continuously. And I had to work. So those 3 days were sheer misery. Then on the 4th morning, when I woke up, it was gone. The migraine attack was gone. So, as usual, I started to go for the bank, got into the car. The driver took me the usual round there, and there's a traffic signal, very busy traffic signal. So usually, if the car stops there, usually it may be a full minute or 2 before that. So knowing that for a minute or 2, and that relief of no, I closed my eyes and relaxed. And then a thought happened. No pleasure I've ever enjoyed can equal this relief. Distinct, the relief I felt, no migraine. No pleasure could compare with it. So from that point of view, this is what enlightenment gives, that happiness, absence of suffering, depends on how you see it. But the absence of suffering can bring great delight. Okay?
Very good. Yes, better than okay. Thank you.
So,
Thank you. I would like you to sign a book for someone in Kuma who has never been out overseas, but
Yeah.
he said that you have helped him more than anybody else in the world, just through reading my books.
Yeah. You see what happened there? There is a book, I don't know whether you have read it, Homage to the Teaching.
Homage to the teacher.
Homage to the Teaching, a collection of letters from people
Yes.
who have been helped so much. Many of them not coming here, merely
Yes.
by reading.
Well, I'll have a look at it. I bought this book. I bought it somewhere else, not here. So.
Oh, yeah, that's the latest one.
Yes.
Yes, that's the latest one. You want me to sign
I
it?
would like you to write. I've got a pen. Thank
Yeah.
you. Please. Could you put to Harry, I am with you always, always, always.
Harry.
Ramesh? To Harry. He'll love it.
I'm always with you.
I'm with you always, 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 Ramesh.
That will be a lie.
He'll love it.
This is what I have written.
Thank you. It's a lie he would have liked. Thank you. That will give him so much pleasure. Thank you.
Not at all, not at all.
And thank you for having us to your house.
Yes.
And thank you for having us tomorrow and the next day too.
So, if you have any questions, now we can deal with them. But at the moment you don't have any questions,
Like to absorb what
please,
you've said.
please.
Yes.
You have a question?
No, I'd like to absorb what you've said.
Yes. So if any questions arise during the day,
Yes.
you are welcome to come again
We would like to.
and we'll
Yes.
deal with them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes,
Thank you.
better than okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I and someone else want to ask
Any
questions?
questions?
Any questions?
Now, Murthy. You have?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, that's up there.
You have unbroken connection to the source. And how do you know? I mean, what does that feel like?
You see, what he's saying is, ultimately, what is the point? The point is that all day I do not suffer from any guilt or shame or hatred. So I didn't mention it today, but what I'm saying is, that means at one point it struck me. So what does this ultimately mean? It means peace of mind. Then exactly what does peace of mind mean? And it suddenly struck me. Peace of mind means that I'm never uncomfortable with myself. And I'm never uncomfortable with the other. More importantly, it struck me, never being uncomfortable with myself, never being uncomfortable with the other meant that I'm connected to the source throughout. In other words, my connection with the source is never broken. And my concept is that every ego is impersonal consciousness identified with a name and form as a separate entity. Therefore, every ego begins with being connected to the source. Every time the ego gets involved in something and blames or condemns someone for something, either himself or the other, the connection gets broken. And it's the broken connection which means suffering. So when I find now that without that, my connection with the source is never broken. So I came to the conclusion, enlightenment means being constantly connected to the source, without the connection being broken at any time. That's what you mean? Yes, so?
Well, I guess if I think what would be constant connection to the source to me, I kind of think of You know, the sort of lights and the sort of big things and the stuff.
Yes. No, wait a minute. That I can see that, but what I mean, being constantly connected to the source, I don't have to be constantly aware of being connected.
Okay.
Now, Nick lives the whole day. Does Nick have to remind himself all the time that Nick is so-and-so, Nick is so-and-so's son, so-and-so's brother, Nick is doing such and such a job, Nick is supposed to do this? Nick doesn't have to remind himself who he is. It's there. He knows who Nick is. Similarly, I don't have to remind myself all the time that I'm connected to the source. It's there in the background. It's there in the background. Just as I know who Ramesh is, I know who I am, who my family is, what my assets and liabilities are, I'm aware of it. Similarly, I'm aware of the fact that I'm connected to the source. It remains in the background all the time. I don't have to bring it to the forefront.
But it brings peace.
It brings peace. That is the point. So ultimately, in daily living, what does being connected to the source mean? Peace of mind. What is peace of mind? No suffering. And what is the suffering? My pleasure of the moment being shattered, my pain of the moment being increased. That doesn't happen. Okay, Nick?
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Not at the moment. Okay.
I'm going off to Nepal tomorrow, so I won't be. Hopefully, I'll come back later.
You're going where?
I'm going to Nepal tomorrow.
Oh, no, I see.
So, but hopefully, I'll come back.
You're welcome always.
Thank you very much.
You're always welcome, Nick.